Hey, it's Josh here, and today I'm going to be working on and riding the GPRSHO conversion project. And honestly, I'd love to get a name going for this thing because I'm really tired of saying GPRSHO. I've been trying to think of one, but nothing comes to mind, so if you have an idea, let me know. For those of you who don't know, I took the largest available production personal watercraft engine, 1.8 liter supercharged Yamaha, and put it in this old early 2000s Yamaha Waverunner. Reason being, this older Waverunner weighs considerably less than the new models currently available today. I've got a lot of experimenting going on with this, and I have so many parts that I'm labeling all my stuff. See, this has GP12R all over it, but that's for each individual piece, so I'll know, exactly what it is. This one is marked out, this FX SHO, it's that pump that I got. So the venturi section, which is this part, right, just this piece, on the 1200R, it has a larger diameter exit hole. So it's like, I kind of measured it out with just a tape measure, and it was like around 90 millimeters, where on the other ones, the FCR and FX SHO ones, it was more around 85, I think. And then a notable difference on the 1200R, these fins here, this is a 1200R Venturi, the fins are shorter, and I don't think that I've noticed any difference in cavitation one versus another. Also on the 1200R exit nozzle, it is like 3 or 5 millimeters larger across than the other ones, the FCR and the FX ones. I'm going to go ahead and put the 1200R exit nozzle and venturi section back onto this. I had run them on this at different points in time, so I'm actually going to put them both. I don't think I've ever had them both on together, so I want to get them both on together and see what kind of difference that would make. Last time I was riding, I didn't show this in the video, but I did take the shims out of my trim tabs just to see what it would do. And it was just bouncy, 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 bounce no matter what. So I'm definitely going to be putting my shims back into the trim tabs, and I'm just running 2mm shims on all 4 bolts in the trim tabs. And so if you have a GPR and it's just bouncy, 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 you just got to put some shims underneath your trim tabs, and that'll help a lot with that. Here is the one on the trim tab for this side, if you guys were wondering what the heck I was talking about trim tabs. And it's just these plates that you can pop shims into, onto your bolts, and then it changes the ride on the machine. And I'm running 2mm spacers, and I am wanting to try 3 because Adam Troy from Australia has recommended 3mm as a good setup on this, which I would totally try. But right now I'm just trying to keep everything equal with changing around my venturi and my exit nozzle. I'm going to get this thing out on the water. One notable thing I want to say though is that the sponsons are set in the up position. So before I've had them in the sort of angled position is where I've liked them. But on this particular day, they're just set in the up position, so they're the farthest up and out of the water, just so it doesn't take anything away from the top speed. And I'm definitely going to do a back-to-back with having them up versus that angled position that I prefer, but not in this video. We'll do that in a different video. Okay, heading out to test the GPRSHO again. Obviously the biggest engine available for a personal watercraft today, stuffed inside this hull, this old GP1200R. And going out to test the 1200R venturi and nozzle and see if there's any speed there, or handling, or any kind of differences in cavitation, handling, or top speed. I'm testing with a bit more fuel in the tank right now, so top speed may be a bit lower, but it generally is better to take a top speed run early before your engine gets any kind of heat soak into it. But I've already got my cell phone set in the glove box. I'm just gonna kind of warm it up just a bit, and then we're gonna head straight for our top speed. Little jump there. All right, here we go, guys. Top speed run. Let me check the number. 74.4. I'm thinking we're gonna have it. Basically is gonna, I think, make the exact same speed as it was before. I think something is limiting this hull to kind of like 75 miles per hour, but I'm gonna run back and see if that improves or anything. Initial hookup is a little bit better, so the cavitation seems to have dropped down a bit. I'm going to check for what speed we got on the way back there. 74.4. I'm reckoning we would hit 75 with a little less gas in the tank. But let me get a feel for how it's running buoys right now. In the water there. Mental note, don't hit that log. took off my helmet. Gonna go out there and do some reverse head cam just to see what it looks like behind this thing. Oh, burr. Oh. I gotta wipe off the screen. I can tell you guys that this thing feels about 1,000 times faster than when you're not wearing a helmet. I don't know, just the rush of wind by my head is literally the first time I've ridden it without a helmet. And it's not something I necessarily wanted to do, but I did want to get with the camera pointing back. And now I'm running out of fuel. So, oh man, I guess I'll be heading back in now. Pretty pleased with the running of the ski, and all in all, pretty happy. Honestly, I call this thing old reliable now, because every day I come out and ride this, you guys see it's like different days, but on those days I've tried to ride something else, like the Sea-Doo or the boat or whatever, and those things tend to not work properly, and this one just always runs. So the boat is Kawasaki and the Sea-Doo is, well, Sea-Doo. So there you go. Call it Yamaha reliability. Call it this thing just being set up better. This thing have had more work done on it. I don't know what it is, but it's just the truth of the matter. Alright guys, it's really calm out today. I'm going to attempt to hold my phone in my hand while I speed check. That way I can see the readout in real time. So I've got some suspicions about this thing. And let's see.
Anyway, guys, I was kind of right. I was thinking that the cruising speeds on this are like 60, in the 60s, like 65, and that's what I was seeing. Like at half throttle, it's right there in the mid 60s. Full throttle, we went up to like 73, but I'm holding my phone, so pretty tough to really go for it. Wish I wasn't running out of fuel or I'd keep going, but it is how it is.
I'm going to get to work on this pump shoe. I want to get the voids filled on this thing, but before I go into that, I just want to take a quick time to talk about how it went here today on the test ride. The top speed that I'm hitting here is 74.4 miles per hour. That's just the speed that it's at for today. Obviously the water is smooth. It's the combination of the 1200R Venturi and exit nozzle puts it right at that speed. Now, I'm sure I could get back to that 75 miles per hour. And I believe on that day, the big difference was, I've gone back and forth with like nozzle combinations and whatnot, but I believe on my fastest point, I was using the 1200R Venturi with an FX SHO exit nozzle was where we hit 75. I really like the 1200R Venturi and exit nozzle on there. It gives it a lot better bite off the bottom, a little bit less cavitation. So that's really a plus for me. And if I'm going to lose 0.6 of a mile per hour for a little bit better off the line, I'm okay with that because I think we'll make it up in other ways. That all being said, it was a really great day of riding. The water was perfect and the ski felt really good. I do want to get back to the angle on the sponsons the setup that I'd like. It gives it a more gradual turn in. You'll probably notice in the videos, in the turns, it's kind of like notchy, like you can see me sort of working the bars there. So that, I think, is because of where the sponsons are set up. And if I get them back angled to where I like them, I think it'll have a much smoother transition to turn in. But I'm going to get to work on this pump shoe now. This is the intake grate off of the GPR SHO. I've been working on this and I figured I better show you guys what's going on. So I'm filling all the voids on this, and you can buy a kit. I think it costs like 60 or 70 bucks to do this, but I didn't want to spend the money. So I've already filled this area with resin, and it is an epoxy resin. And I've filled this one as well. They're not fully hardened, but they're hard enough that I can move this around and they're not going to drizzle out or anything. I'm getting ready to do these ones. Obviously, I'm going to tape the other side of the holes when I do these, but I remembered that somebody asked how you get this like white stuff off, and I don't know if they'll ever see this or who it was or when that was, but I'm cleaning out these holes so I can put the resin in there, and this is how I'm doing it. As you can see, that really cleaned the white stuff off there really quickly. So any kind of a wire brush on a drill probably work really great for getting this white junk off. Alright, I've got the little holes taped off on the underside. Now I can go ahead and fill these spots up with some resin. Just gotta mix this garbage up. It's just some stuff I had laying around. This is for like doing countertops. Not 100% sure how well it's gonna work, but give it a shot here anyways.
right, there we go. When it's all nice and dry, I'm gonna go over it with a long board sander, get it all nice and flat there. But obviously that fills up the little voids quite nice. So it is the next day here on this intake grate, and you can see how the epoxy has dried. Well, this is an epoxy resin that I'm using. So got those gaps all filled in, did these ones. Now when I'm all finished, I'm gonna go over everything with a just with something like a wire wheel or something, get all this extra resin off that doesn't need to be on there, or a sander or something. Now I'm gonna pull this grate off. Obviously I can take my tape off now. I'm gonna pull this part off. I was kind of hoping this wouldn't be the case, but there are these open voids in here as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and figure out a way to get those sealed up also. And I'm kind of sick of just filling the voids with pure epoxy, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do, because I'm feeling like, man, it's getting heavier and heavier and heavier. I wish I would have thought of this before, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick some pieces of foam into the slots before I fill them with epoxy, so that'll keep the weight down. I've just got little bits of foam filling up some of the space, so it won't be all 100% resin. And this should, you know, keep the weight down a little bit and a little bit less resin material that I'll have to use on this. So make sure we got equal parts. This resin is a half and half type of deal. Mix it around with the old screwdriver. Fly trying to fly through that window, and it can't. There's a full open garage door for you to fly if you want to fly out that, but you know, if you want to just keep flying through that window, that's fine. Oh my god, the fly left. What a miracle. I think it was my pep talk. Problem that I'm finding is that this foam really wants to float. And I don't want it at the surface because I need the resin to completely encapsulate it, so that it's a nice solid seal. It would have been a lot easier to just not do any foam, to be honest. So maybe it really wasn't worth it, but I just thought I'd give it a try. So while I had this intake grate apart, I went ahead and sort of deburred it a little bit with this tool. Just went over, smoothed everything out, and any kind of like burrs or imperfections or like rock nicks I tried to go over, you know. And, you know, I don't expect huge gain there, but, you know, we are going fairly fast, and every little bit probably will help at this point. And it's just something I kind of did for fun, just to clean it up as much as I could, just because I could. On the next video with this GPR SHO, hopefully we'll get a new name for it soon. I'm going to be testing out the intake grate and pump shoe with the voids all filled in, and we'll see what kind of differences that will make top speed handling, cavitation wise. See if that's good. I mean, this is something that everybody usually does, so I'm hoping for good results on that. So you're going to want to check out the next video on the GPR SHO, because it's going to be pretty cool.